Welcome, friends. Thanks for watching today's devotional. Did you ever wonder why people react so differently to life's ups and downs, especially the down part? Some people seem to just roll with whatever happens, while others fall apart, dissolving into worrying and fretting about whatever has happened to them as if they are the only ones who have ever had suffering and troubles in their lives. I believe there's two groups of people who roll with whatever happens, who go with the flow, so to speak. Those who are apathetic to what's happening, that is, they don't care about much of anything, and those who are trusting in something to be taken care of. Now, of that latter group, they are either trusting in man, either themselves or someone else, to take care of the situation, or they're trusting in a higher power, be that the God of the universe or some other God of their own devices. Those who are trusting in anything other than the God of the Bible will eventually come to a point where they realize, where they're made to realize, that whatever they were trusting in is not sufficient, not proficient enough to take care of them. And let me tell you why I believe that. In 1 John 5, 1 through 5, John writes, "Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God, and everyone who loves the Father loves the child as well. This is how we know that we love the children of God, by loving God and carrying out his commands. In fact, this is love for God, to keep his commands. And his commands are not burdensome. For everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith." Who is it that overcomes the world? Only the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. So the ones who trust in God will be overcomers of this world and of all that life can throw at them. This does not say that bad things will not happen to God's children. It says that we can overcome those things by having faith in Jesus. So let's unpack these verses, shall we? Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. This is a reference to what Jesus told Nicodemus back in John 3:3. Jesus replied, "Very truly I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again." And Nicodemus viewed this statement from a physical viewpoint and couldn't understand what it meant. So Jesus elaborated in verses 5 and 6. Jesus answered, "Very truly I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of water and the Spirit. Flesh gives birth to flesh, but the Spirit gives birth to spirit." And this is what is meant by being born again, born of the Spirit of God. Everyone who loves the Father loves his child as well. John is saying here that if you love God the Father, then you will love God the Son. And I would say the converse is true as well. If you love the Son, you will love the Father. This is how we know that we love the children of God, by loving God and carrying out his commands. In fact, this is love of God, for God, to keep his commands. Now, John tells us we can prove or demonstrate our love for the children of God by loving God and keeping his commandments. John says that this is what loving God means, to keep his commands. No soft and fuzzy feelings here. John is saying, put your love into action by keeping the commandments of God. And his commands are not burdensome, for everyone born of God overcomes the world. The commandments of God are not burdensome to the child of God because they enable us to overcome the world. And John says this promise is for every child of God, rich or poor, high and exalted or low and abased, no matter your station in life. You can be an overcomer against the world, against whatever life throws at you, against whatever Satan brings against you. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. And what enables us to be overcomers in all things? Our faith. Our faith in Jesus, that he is the Christ, the Messiah, the anointed one with whom all things were created by. Faith that by Jesus we are saved from the wrath of God appointed for sinners. Faith that Jesus, who knew no sin, became sin for us, so that we may become the righteousness of God. Note here that it's not our strength, our smarts, our diligence, our money, or our stuff that makes us overcomers. It is purely by faith in Jesus Christ that we can be overcomers. Who is it that overcomes the world? Only the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. For added emphasis, John now repeats what he said at the beginning. You know, whenever you see something repeated in the Bible, you should really listen up and pay attention, because repetition is not used for no reason at all. Here, John asks a rhetorical question. Who is it that overcomes the world? And the answer, of course, is the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. As he said in the previous sentences, it is our faith that overcomes the world. Now let me put this into practical terms. If you're a Christian and you don't believe you're an overcomer, examine your faith. What are you trusting in? Are you trusting in yourself, a friend, a rich uncle, the government? Make sure your faith and trust are in Jesus Christ and Him alone. Read 1 John 5 to see what an overcomer looks like. Read Romans 8, where you'll find this verse, number 37. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. You'll need to read the rest of Romans 8 to find out what all these things are. If you're not a child of God, not a Christian, then you will never be an overcomer against the world. Oh, you may be living and having an okay time right now, sailing smoothly along. But sooner or later, you will be faced with something that you are not prepared for, because eventually you will be face to face with God, and you'll be called to account for your life. All of us will face this accounting. It's just that children of God will have an advocate in the person of Jesus Christ. You will be in the courtroom with no lawyer to represent you, and that's not a good place to be when the judge is the judge of the universe. So put your faith in Jesus Christ and be an overcomer. Until next time, may God bless you and protect you in His perfect love. Goodbye.